Welcome to the Love Pod, where inspiration, vision, and real connection come alive. Wherever you are, you belong here.
Hello and good afternoon, everyone. I am your host, Julia, and we're so excited to welcome Rachel Bacheler to our show today. Rachel is a co-founder, entrepreneur, mother of three, storyteller, and one half of the visionary partner behind Doctor's Remedy, a brand that brings together wellness, medicine, and beauty in a really thoughtful way. Rachel played a key role in launching this company back in 2007, working closely with the co-founding podiatrist, I hope I said that right, podiatrist, excuse me, and helping shape everything from product formulation to long-term strategy. And before fully stepping into this world, she worked as a writer and producer in television for major networks, and her background in storytelling and journalism clearly weaves into the way that she approaches her work today. What drew us to this conversation is Rachel's openness about the unexpected paths that life can take, especially when building a family and a business at the same time, which is exactly what my and I are currently doing. And her story touches upon entrepreneurship, partnership, reinvention, and navigating seasons that don't always come with a clear path. So, Rachel, we're really grateful to have you here today and looking forward to exploring more about your journey together. Welcome to the Love Pod.
Hello. Hi.
Hi. Do you
Oh,
mind just there
no,
you
yeah, there
are?
we go.
Oh,
I don't know what happened there. Sorry
that's
about that.
okay. That's okay. Welcome. How are you doing today, Rachel?
Thank you. I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, the pleasure is ours. Maybe to begin with, I'll invite you to introduce yourself for those who are meeting you for the first time today. Perhaps you could share a little bit about your story and what brought you to the work that you're doing today.
Okay, sure. A little bit about me. Right? You said such a beautiful intro. I feel like you maybe said it all already, but I started as a television producer in Manhattan. Um, right out of college, I was working in television and TV, in film and television, and that brought me into Manhattan, where I was freelancing for a lot of different networks. And simultaneously, my husband was trying to be an entrepreneur. He was an active working podiatrist, but he wanted to create a product, do something to help his field. And so he had this concept that just happened to be very, it felt related to women. And it made sense for me to kind of step in and give some input. What I was doing for television really was promoting television to different audiences. And so there was a really nice translation from one to the next. So I was able to take speaking to, let's say I was promoting a film for women I was working at Lifetime Television for Women. I was able to now talk to a different audience about beauty and nail polish. So it just really was a nice little stepstone for me.
And how did that transition feel like for you, moving from television world into because you're an entrepreneur now yourself. How did that feel? What did that look like for you?
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely scary. I think that everybody has imposter syndrome at some time in their life, and I didn't have an MBA, and I wasn't sure how to run a company, and I didn't run the company in the beginning. We were sort of all floundering, trying to figure out what this was going to be. I think it was probably maybe 6 years, 5 years into the company where we saw that there was a lot of growth potential and there was a lot of things that needed somebody to manage. And so it became very obvious that I had to walk away from what I was doing to do this full time. And it happened at the same time where I was having all my children, so they were babies. And so I had to sort of let go of something. I couldn't be mom, working two jobs, freelance, like it was just too much. So I don't regret it at all. I think that this was such an amazing opportunity. I feel very grateful that I was able to step into something that I was able to put so much of my own creativity and spin on. So it's been a really cool, maybe something that happened by accident, honestly.
That is anything in life ever by accident? That no, Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, looking back, it didn't feel so accidental. It felt very purposeful. But
Mm.
when I tell the story, it does feel like, wow, I feel like I sort of fell into this a bit.
Right. Totally. Yeah, I can totally see how you would think that. And it's honorable to for I love women who are able to do that and really balance that like aspect of entrepreneurship and professional world and also still be, a mom at home taking care of the children. So speaking of that balance, what did that look like for you? Like was that easy for you to balance all that, or were there days where you're just like, "Oh my goodness, did you have any extra support? Like did you have a nanny or did they go to daycare when they were a certain age?"
Yeah, so I think that being married to a doctor definitely changes that dynamic. There's not as much, all right, I'll be with the kids from this hour to that hour. You're going to take care of this. I'm going to take, there's a lot of emergencies for doctors and crazy hours, things that keep them at work and whatnot. So we did end up bringing au pairs over. We had some wonderful au pairs from Brazil who are still like family to us. So for, I would say, the first maybe 5 years, I had a lot of hands-on. My mom also was here helping out. So that said, I do look back and I see myself as having been very present for them. And I think that I owe a lot of that to being my own boss, where I was able to sort of work in the quiet corners and late nights, things like that, and really have my own schedule around, what I needed it to be.
Yeah, for sure. It's very fortunate that you were able to have that support too with the au pairs, and I'm sure it's a blessing. Um, in terms of like the busy schedule, I could imagine, the schedule too, that is probably so unpredictable with your husband being a doctor and plus running the business. Like, with all that going on, how were you able to keep also your relationship like authentic with him?
That's a great question. I think that when you're raising young children, they steal a lot of the spotlight. And we spent a lot of time on sports fields with them growing up,
Hmm.
side by side, just kind of playing teammates. We did try to get away where we love to travel. We took our kids to a lot of conferences as we were building the brand because our original audience, and it continues to be a very strong audience for us, are doctors' offices. We sell in podiatry offices. So to people like you and me that maybe have foot problems and we go into the podiatrist, we can buy products from them. So our brand is very well in still in this platform. So we traveled to conferences, they came along, and we were always as present as we could be with them. Um, and yes, travel was always probably the most important thing for me in kind of as the kids were growing up. I thought it was really important to take them away, see other places. And I think that when we could step away from the day-to-day, the everyday chaos, that's when you really kind of bond and get to spend that really time of connecting.
And I love that. I love that answer. It's really inspiring to me as well because, our vision for our family lifestyle is to be, traveling and doing the work and sharing, the work that we're doing, wherever we go and connecting communities and, bringing our children on the road. We only have one right now, but, we totally want to homeschool her. And so we think it's also really important because, the authentic everyday living it happens out there in the real world. And so to be able to get out of the classroom and, just feet on the ground and like this is the best classroom to me is, Mother Earth and everyday life. And it's really interesting because I feel like a lot of parents, especially who are entrepreneurs, are like, I need to focus on my stuff. And I like my children are a distraction as much as I love them, like I need the focus time. And so I could understand how maybe they would think like, how can I combine the two, right? It's can be overwhelming. But like I'm a new mom, but the way that I see it is like me like sharing my work and my life, whether it's doing the laundry or, doing my work and just having her see that is educating her because she's seeing the real day-to-day stuff that, we're going through. And maybe she can't be on the laptop like for an instance like this when I'm with you, but I try to include her as much as I can because to me this is learning through the real life stuff. And I love that you included your children so much in the conferences and traveling to the extent that you could, because it really does change up, the mundane everyday routine. And, they get to experience, different people or cultures depending where you travel to and meet new experiences. So I think that's really cool.
Yeah, it's I think that your philosophy and the way you want to raise your daughter is great. I love it, and it reminds me of myself, where I was when I had my first. But I think that the business and growing up around the business and my husband's profession and my earlier profession played different roles for our children growing up, but they always saw us loving what we do and being excited and curious about the next phase of whatever that was that we were working on. So I think that um, I have two older children now in college, and it is pretty cool to see how motivated they are to be creative, be engaged with the world, and take whatever lessons they've learned and now spread their own wings. It's nice.
That's, yeah, I could imagine. And what are they pursuing in college, if you don't mind me asking?
So my oldest is an economics major, and he actually was just accepted into the London School of Economics for their summer program. So that'll be a very cool experience for him. And
Congrats.
my middle son he's still sort of honing in on his major. He's looking at sort of concentrating on entrepreneurship. He goes to school at Berkeley in California, and we
Okay.
have a very interesting niche type education out there. So hopefully he'll be able to um, study the things that interest him.
Yeah, for sure. That's
Yeah.
that's really awesome, and I feel like going through those times, there's so many options out there that it can be overwhelming. Like I remember when I was 17 when I graduated high school, and I was like, I have no idea what I want to pursue. But
So
the thing
young.
is, when you get
Yeah.
exposure, you get to try out different things, then you can always change. And like when I was teaching too, I would always tell my students, you can try different things and nothing is permanent in life. Like if you don't like something or you realize, this is not really for me, you can always change. But the more exposure you have, the more different things you try, then you can kind of get a taste of what you like. And I feel like a lot of the times, like students, especially fresh ones, are afraid to choosing the wrong thing. At least I was. I was like, oh my gosh, I have to choose something for the rest of my life, and then I got to stick with it. This is such, a false belief that perhaps is put onto us in our society. And there are people who stick with their jobs their whole life, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But I think what's really important, at least I love to, really encourage like people who are in this really big decision making point of their life is at least to pursue something that lights them up, something that they're passionate about.
That's very true. I think I've said to both of my kids that I would hate for whatever internship they explored for the first time to be their forever job.
Hmm.
There's just so many ways to pivot. I mean, even just talking about my own perspective, my initial goal was to be an on-air reporter. I studied journalism, English writing and journalism, and that was going to be my path. And I just never felt comfortable in front of the camera. It just was not a comfort zone for me. So I ended up doing an internship in the production department and doing promotion and sort of like marketing in this
Hmm.
field. And then I thought that was going to be my forever job, and it was for a very long time. It's nice how life does transition and pull us into different places. I feel a bit like Forrest Gump sometimes.
Yeah, no, for sure. And the beauty of it is like even when it's scary, even when we've been in something for so long, but we know we'd love a change, like we have the power to choose that. It's just making a decision. And sometimes you don't always know what that change is going to look like or that transition period. And we don't always have the answers figured out before it happens. But I
Right.
think the key is trusting. So I would love to ask you, because you've been down this path as an entrepreneur, and I'm sure that the path wasn't always clear, as you had mentioned, but what helped you going when things felt so uncertain?
Uh, I guess what kept me going when things felt uncertain? For sure, I guess my children, they inspire me to go and be the best version of myself. I think my husband's a great teammate in that way. We push each other. um, he always wants to see me succeed. He wants to see me tr be scared and turn over stones. And um, I needed a little encouragement today, in fact. And he just called me out of the blue. You've got this. So I think that that's what kind of keeps you going, choosing the right partner and wanting to be the best version of yourself for your children. Because I think you're their mirror and you're modeling something important. It's a really important role being a parent, and we shouldn't take it lightly. I mean, I feel a lot of gratitude that I get to be a mom, but I also feel that responsibility.
Yeah, it definitely is a huge responsibility. And I love that that's your motivation, is your family. I feel like, a lot of the times the things that, keep us going is, those that we love. And it's inspiring to want to be a better person for them. I know that my little one coming into this world, she has been my greatest teacher. And, every day I want to make life better for her and for her to have like the best, most, enriching experience that she can have. But I realize that starts with me. And that's not always an easy realization because sometimes as a new mom, it's like, oh, I need to put her first and, she needs to be fed or whatever it is. But I realize like I also need to take care of myself because if I'm well, then I can also take care of her. But it's incredible how these little beings inspire us and also our partners, to want to make change in this world and be the best version of ourselves.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more.
Yeah. So do you want to share more about, the business that you created? And it's called
Yeah.
Doctor's Remedy.
Doctor's Remedy. So the concept was created by sort of an epiphany my husband had one day, just basically at work. He had a lot of to give you a little background, the history
Hmm.
of podiatry, the history of going to see a foot doctor would very much look like, well, stop wearing nail polish. It's damaging to your nails and oftentimes causes discoloration or peeling or even foot, some kind of a fungal condition. So my husband thought, well, why don't we just kind of, if you can't beat them, join them? Why don't we just create a polish that they can wear? So early on, we decided to create a polish that stripped toxins out of the nail polish, which now is not as innovative. A lot of brands have done that. We are a 24 free nail polish, and there are brands that are 12 free and different numbers. But what makes our nail polish still to this day very interesting and unique is that we added back things that are additives, organic additives that are better for your nail. So biotin, wheat protein, vitamins. Some of our products have bamboo extract, kale, ginseng, things like that that are all geared toward the health of the nail. And within the last 5 years or so, we've expanded the company into more foot care products because obviously our feet really are the foundation for everything. And as podiatrists, this was like the perfect platform. And I was inspired a lot by my son, which I didn't mention, my son that's out in California. He's a college athlete. And so athletes, we have a whole platform now. If you go to our website, remedynails.com, you'll see we have a whole section for athletes and foot care. So we've moved from nail polish to foot care to really speaking to a unisex audience and a whole demographic of, younger 20-year-olds who want to take better care of their feet.
What kind of foot care products you sell?
So we have well the latest one that we have two very recent products. One we came out with last year has arnica. It's a lotion with
Hmm.
arnica, CBD, and magnesium. It's this triple blend.
Nice.
So it's great for arthritis or just any kind of ache, pain. So we're finding that is really speaking to our athletes as well as our older women and men who just have, achy parts. And then most recently, within the last couple of weeks, we launched a foot powder that is creative and innovative in that it's got organic ingredients added to it, but it has white charcoal, it has Australian eucalyptus. So it's sort of interesting ingredients, again, all organic, that help cool the foot, uh, kind of wick moisture. So it's really great for ski season now. Anybody who boots in the dark environment. So it's just kind of it's working in conjunction with everything else that we have. So it's a great new product.
That's super interesting. I love it. And I think it's really cool how you're catering to the unisex and it's not just women nail care, you know. And to me, it's so interesting because I actually stopped wearing nail polish. I mean, I used to be a completely different person with always needing to be dolled up or, you know, I've gone through
Right.
some pretty significant life transitions. But the reason I stopped wearing nail polish is because I thought, you know, the chemicals and the toxins were not good for me. So to know that there's people like yourselves and brands out there who are promoting these better types of products is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, we don't judge, right? I mean, we have a lot of people that come to us that wear gel nail polish that either their fingernails or their toenails are destroyed from it. And so they're looking for a recovery option, which we have. So we have, base coats and treatments and clear topicals that will help reverse these damages that have been done. But yeah, I mean it's definitely a better nail polish. It's a better choice, but there are still people that are going to want to, like you said, doll up, glam up, and that's fine. Again, not here to judge, but we're here to help if you need us.
Yeah, and I think the most important thing too is how the person feels. Like if they don't feel bad doing that and it works for them, all good, you know. But for those who are looking for better, healthier options, it's good to know that they're out there. And so they can buy these products online. I'll have a link to your website as well under this episode description. And and you also have a store. You also have a salon where you live?
We don't have a storefront. We do sell, like I said, to the podiatrist. So likely there's one in your area because we've been around for almost 20 years now. So we have podiatrists all over the country. And we actually sell in Australia and Canada and Europe. We sell
Wow.
everywhere. So, but yes, you can for sure buy it online on Amazon even. And yeah, it's very easy to find.
So, what does your role, your day-to-day role and activity look like now in the business now that your children have are probably older and what does your day-to-day look like?
Yeah, my youngest is 15 now, so it's crazy. We have come a long way, and my oldest is 21. So my day to day, we have a great team. It's all women at this point. We empower one another. We have a great camaraderie, and we have meetings and we brainstorm. We come up with color names and concepts and ingredients. We try to grow the business. We cater to the people who have been with us forever. In fact, we just came from a conference last weekend where we're shaking hands with customers of ours that have been with us like 19 years. It's
Wow.
beautiful. So,
Wow. That's awesome. And what would you say, like, coming this far and continuing to move forward with the projects and the expansion that you're working on, what would you say has been your biggest learning, your biggest learning and success, but also your biggest challenge, or at
so
least one of them?
yeah. So, the thing that I've learned the most is probably to listen more. The curiosity part is really important. I've learned that through the years. But I think just listening to what other people have to bring to the table, I think everybody has an important voice and a piece of the puzzle, so to speak. My again, back to my kids, like they teach me things all the time. So I think listening is a big thing. Challenges, um, well, we've tried things that have failed. We've had products that have flopped. There's been challenges like the pandemic that have really challenged us financially. There's been nail biting moments where we wonder if something's going to pan out, and somehow it does. Or if it doesn't quite pan out, we figure a pivot.
Hmm.
So the challenges have been fun to some extent. Um, and so they've taught us things and we've learned from them. So um,
I
no regrets.
Yeah, I like how you said the challenges have been fun. You don't hear that
Yeah.
every day, but it's so true. Like as an entrepreneur, they will be there whether you want them or not. And failure is inevitable, I like to say. And I
Right.
think people need to fail more and fail faster because when you go through those experiences, you learn from them. And then
Right.
you see how you can adjust and how you can pivot, like you say. And so it's not about judgment or, wanting things to be a different way. It's really just trying different things and experimenting and then seeing what works.
Right. I mean, listen, I mean, there's things that are out of your control, right? Like the pandemic.
Yeah.
I'm sure there are a lot of people that buried their head in the sand and thought this is doomsday,
Hmm.
but you do have to walk into it with the perspective of everybody's in the same boat here and let's get creative. So, but then there are certain things, right, where you say, nope, we're going to press forward with this. And then you're the one that's staring at a concept or a project or a product that just flopped. So, and when I do say that some of the challenges have been fun, I do look back at the pandemic and the things that we did creatively to pivot were super fun. They felt very stressful in the moment, but it's part of our story. It's part of where we've landed. So it's good stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's you really just have to trust and know that, especially I think the biggest quality to have as an entrepreneur is to be flexible and really go with the flow, right? Because like you said, there's things that are not always in our control, but that doesn't mean we just stay there and be miserable. We need to we're problem solvers. We need to find a way around that and be creative with it. I love that. So what, like, if you were to give somebody, advice for them being on this entrepreneurship path, and perhaps like you being a mother and being overwhelmed by trying to do it all, what piece of advice could you offer them?
Well, I guess something that's scary doesn't have to be something we don't do. I think if it's scary, maybe it's telling us to do it.
Mhm.
I think that there's been a lot of times in my life where I've been, a little scared of that next step. You just have to, you know, I think that momentum, movement creates confidence. And so we just have to keep moving forward. And as we do that, we become more and more confident. You sort of almost have to plow through that imposter syndrome. Again, I didn't have a business degree, and somehow I'm running this business. I think there are a lot of resources out there. I think that you need to pay attention to the people who are doing it well,
Mhm.
watch the people who have done it before you, and learn from them, ask questions, and read a lot of books. But and don't be afraid to fail. It's going to
Mhm.
happen.
Yeah.
So sometimes when you think that you've for sure failed, it's there's still one more thing that could work. So I think that it's just a matter of exploring what that might be.
That's such a great answer. And yeah, I really agree with how you touched upon, like, just because it's scary doesn't mean we should, avoid it. It's probably good for us, right? It's scary, we feel excited about it, but it's going to help us grow, and that's why we're here.
Yeah, my favorite line that I tell the staff at the end of the day, it's only nail polish. Like nothing's breaking. Nothing, you can't, it's not like we're running a country that we're trying to protect from war, right?
Right, right.
We're not in the army. This is a nail polish company.
Yeah.
So
I love that. You keep it lighthearted.
yeah, I tell
Yeah.
everyone to go home at the end of the day and just forget about it. And tomorrow we'll create more problems. It's all
Tomorrow's
good.
a new day. Yeah. Problems are not a bad thing. Yeah, I
Yeah.
love that perspective, and it's all about how we look at it, right? From that lens. So yeah, your brand is about bringing together wellness and beauty. I'd love to ask how you bring that in your own life, like outside of the business. What makes you feel well and and beautiful?
Okay. So I mean, I don't think that wellness has to be extreme to be effective. I think that I movement is important. I walk all the time. I am constantly it's funny. I was just recently invited with a bunch of women to play pickleball, brand new space for me. And so it's getting me curious about something new and trying something I've never done before. So that's kind of been a fun challenge. But to me, that's wellness is getting out there, not being afraid to try it. Um, especially when you get older. It's interesting because I look back when I was probably in my teens, high school. I think you just joined the team or you walked up to a bunch of kids. Like it was very different. And I think as you get older, maybe walking into that room is a little scarier. So believe it or not, I do see that as wellness. I think that coming out of our comfort zone and moving into different areas is good for us, and it's good for our well-being.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything that involves moving the body, I think, is super healing in whatever way or form it comes. And I think the most important thing is if it makes us feel good, and all the better if it's, including others, and or a community. So we're super big on community, with Light Heart Vision. It's actually one of our core values. Do you see yourself a part of a community, and how does that make you feel?
Yeah, I mean, we've been in, I mean, very literal sense, we've been in our town in this community for, more than 20 years. So I do feel very much a part of where we live and, what we represent in our little community. So there for sure. And then I feel like my team, my Remedy team, is this very cool community of small, a small team of women, but we have ancillary people spread out, design and IT and shipping, fulfillment, things like that. It's all part of the community that we're in. And I feel very proud of it. I feel very grateful to be part of it.
That's wonderful. And I remember reading on your bio too that you mentioned you work mainly with women who are like just starting off in their career. And so why is that exciting for you to work with them, knowing like that you can perhaps influence them or, encourage their careers or who they are, so
Yeah.
early on.
I think it's just that, exactly what you just said. I think that when I sit back and I really think about what I want my legacy to be or my purpose in life, it really is about inspiring others and being a strong mentor. And it's not just about my kids. I see these young women with so much potential and so much creativity and drive. One of the things that I have, again, maybe a mistake, maybe it was done on purpose, I don't know, but when I hire someone, oftentimes there is sort of a vague job title when I bring them on, but I kind of tell them very early on that let's see what you like about the company and what space you want to come into. And one of the women that works for us, she kind of came in hired to do customer service and answering phones. And now she sources for us and helps create new products. And she brought two products to market since she's been with us.
Wow.
So I think there's a lot of, I think that you need to be open-minded to the talent that people can bring to your company and
Yeah.
be willing to just hire good people with a lot of energy and people who are willing to learn and grow, and it's all going to fall into place.
That's amazing. And it sounds like they have great mentorship with you. And it's really cool that they can come in and, be hired for one position, but then it's flexible and you see that they're a good fit for another perhaps. And, they thrive in that position. So that's really awesome that there's the room to be able to do that.
Yeah, it's yeah, I think like I said, I don't know if it was a mistake or it just sort of happened on purpose, but it definitely has really worked well for us.
Do you see yourself wanting to call in new product lines in the future? Like what's your vision for the future of Doctor's Remedy?
I think we want to keep expanding internationally. It's a big focus for us, getting the word out there. I think that there is always the next product that we're thinking about and working on. I want to see um, where we can pivot. I think this year we've all come to this grand realization that nail polish is what everybody knows us for, but let's start a new conversation about all the other things that we're really doing well now. So we're starting to talk to our customers and clients and wholesalers about these other great product lines. I'd love to see more engagement with our athletes to see if we can help them more. I want to hear from them. I want to hear what they need so that maybe we can develop products that really can help them be even more successful in their athletic careers.
That's great. It sounds like you're really wanting to help people in their own well-being, and that's exactly what you're doing. And I love that you want to, kind of sh shift the conversation around it and not just be known for the nail polish. That's really
Right.
great. Yeah. Are you still traveling for the work that you're doing and like, promoting internationally and stuff?
I don't travel as much as we used to. We used to travel a lot more to conventions and conferences and things like that. I do have a trip to Europe planned, probably for this summer because we're looking for some expansion there. But most of the travel now probably is personal and things that we do with our kids. Let's see, where did we go? We took them to Croatia recently and Portugal. We like to we love to travel, so see different parts of the world. So
That's beautiful. And when you're not traveling with your family and when you're all together, what are some other things you like to do together to connect?
my husband and I like to hike. We're always looking for the next great hiking adventure. Actually, we took a trip, just the two of us, to Iceland to go hiking, which was really
Wow.
but
Beautiful.
if we're just our day to day, um, we work out. We're big exercise people, lots of exercise. Um, we engage with friends. We like to go to Manhattan. We actually like this, my husband and I in particular, we like exploring speakeasies in Manhattan. That's
What
kind
is
of a fun
that?
little hobby. Like the speakeasies of the 1920s, which aren't really like forbidden anymore, but they're still like these cool little private bars and clubs that you can find in Manhattan. Sometimes there's a
Okay.
passcode to get in.
Okay.
Yeah,
No,
they're
I've
kind of
never
a
heard
fun
of
little,
that.
yeah, it's kind of a fun little thing about Manhattan. They're still hidden about. So we like to do things like that. And my 15-year-old, we drag him around. We're trying to plan like a little ski getaway with him. And he's a big movie buff. So we do a lot of that together. That's a throwback to, my roots. So we do a lot of movie stuff together. Sports. He loves to attend live sporting events and concerts. We do a lot of that stuff. So
Oh, right
that's a
on.
lot of what we do.
That's
Yeah.
a lot to keep you busy.
Yeah. We
That's
try to
great.
stay busy.
That's wonderful. Oh, that's so great. No, that's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing, your story behind, Doctor's Remedy and all that's been going on behind the scenes. I'm really excited for people to hear and learn more about this incredible product and brand. I guess the last question I'd have for you today, Rachel, is, if there was a megaphone that would drop in front of you right now and you could share a message to the rest of the world, what would you say?
Um, that I think that at the end of the day, we're all the same. I think we're all struggling to figuring it out to make life the best we can make it. I think we all flounder at times. We all are afraid to walk into that room. I
Mm.
think that we're all built very similarly, and I think that we all need to have a little more grace for the person that stands in front of us and for ourselves, knowing that life is hard at times and be patient with the people around us. I think that's probably the best thing that I can come up with off the
That's
cuff.
great. So beautiful in its simplicity, realizing that we truly are all equals, even though some of us may be above the rest. It's we all are equals. Yeah, that's really great. Thank you so much. I'm going to have all your links that you shared with me in the show description. So if anyone's wanting to purchase a product or reach out to you, they can go ahead and easily click that.
I'd like to
And
share a discount code for the
oh,
listeners.
yeah. It
Yeah, we created one for people listening to this podcast. It's podcast fan, all one word, and it's 50% off your first order. So order a
Wow.
bunch of stuff and try it.
That's amazing. Yeah, and I'll definitely include that in the show notes as well. Thank you so much for that. That's
Of course, of
lovely.
course. It was great to be on. I hope that your listeners will resonate with our brand. We have something for everybody. So,
Oh, I'm sure they will, and I'm sure they'll be excited to check them out and see what's going on and what they can.
great.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and invite our daughter to say a little farewell, and I will see you on the other side.
Sounds great.
Thank you so much, Rachel.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching. You say ciao ciao.
Bye.
I love you so much.